Howdy everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. I'm going to be working on a Purge Trooper drawing today. As you can see, I've kind of got like the Purge Trooper in the foreground and everything done, but actually I do need to draw Cal Kestis and the Ninth Sister in the background. So yes, it's a Purge Trooper drawing, but today we're mostly actually going to be drawing these two. All right. So the fun thing about this piece is, well, like this is supposed to be going on in the background, right? And he's like falling. So once I'm done with making these two in the background and like lighting it and everything, we're actually going to be applying some filters to like imply motion as well. I've kind of already started implying motion a little bit with this train in the background. You can see like the windows are glowing, but they're whooshing by. And then these guys, like instead of doing line art, like everything's in the background is kind of a little bit more fuzzy. But I actually don't do like non-line art drawings very often, so this is going to be really interesting for me as well. All right, let us begin. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is like temporarily hide the background just so I can actually see kind of what I'm doing. And I kind of got to pick colors that are not going to look like super garish once I put that purple overlay back over it. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, this is funny because, like I said, it's just like so not my style to be doing something without any line art whatsoever. But I think it's going to look appropriate and kind of finish out this piece nicely. Like I said in my last stream, which I think it was kind of a funny comment to make in my last stream, where I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm working on doing like more complex backgrounds and everything. And then my last piece had like a pretty simple background, like as I'm saying that. But this one actually does have kind of a little bit more of a complicated scene to it. And also I found with like these non-line art things. Oh, firstly, I need to put this color in my color palette before I forget it. Because I'm going to make a little bit darker version of it too. That way I can go through and sort of go ahead and give it a little bit more definition before I even start. Like obviously when I do most of the shading and everything, it's going to be in those like purple colors that I've already kind of established as the background colors. But when you don't have lines, typically you might want like a little something extra to sort of differentiate. Also, I need to pull up a reference photo of the Ninth Sister. I mean, I know what she looks like in my head and everything, but yeah, do not enable dictation. Not now. I have an Inquisitor to draw. So a lot of times, like, when I'm drawing and like using reference photos and stuff, I like to actually have like action figures that I can manipulate in 3D and everything, but they've just never made Ninth Sister action figure, which makes me real sad. I would like it if they did that, even if it was like a con exclusive or something that I then had to pay out my ears for, I would still like it very much if they did that. Okay. So for her armor, obviously we can still use the armor colors that we used for PT. All right, I'm going to start with the soft bits. Ooh, wrong brush. It's a nice brush too, just not the one I'm trying to use here. Actually, I need the palette to move. I hope all y'all are having a good week. Almost the weekend, guys. We've made it, almost. This is actually the same brush that I used for my Marin drawing that I did 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Wanted to come on last week. But we had our well pump that like pumps water to our house, the pipe that goes like from the top, like straight from the pump into the ground to our house, like that burst. And obviously we can't have any water until we fix that, so we kind of had to get on fixing that. And I need this to be in a different layer because I don't want to erase the nice work that I've done on her hand. Come on, brush. This is like, especially when you set it to a larger size, this is kind of like a little bit more taxing brush on the CPU. And I am, like I've done in the past, like at least going to give it an attempt to record so that the folks on YouTube who can't make the live streams can actually enjoy this too. That is the thing about all of you, my lovely friends who live in different time zones, right? It's like, this is a convenient time for me after work and everything, but I know for many of you that is not the case. But hey, I mean, if you're watching this live, then maybe it is the case specifically for you. Search and actually, that should really be in the other color. Okay. Let's go a little bit darker now. A little bit darker now. Come on. There we go. It's a very impressionist painting right now. Kind of fun and different. Let's see. I want to see it with the background behind it too, just briefly. Yeah. So like I said, I think this will make a lot more sense why using this brush in particular once we actually um, do like the blur filters and everything. I am gonna move her up just a touch. Let's see, because it doesn't really necessarily look like right at this second. It doesn't look like she's on the train, and I would very much like for her to be on the train. There we go. Move her up just ever so slightly. Okay. Also, I know part of it too. I always think my drawings look kind of weird when it's still the flat colors and they don't have like the highlights and everything yet. And then it's like finally once it gets the highlights, then it's like, oh, okay, I see it now. I predict that this one will be a fun one. Please excuse my cats. They are playing in the hallway. If any of you also watch our Ahsoka streams, then you got to see a lot of Brendel, the cat, this past week. He's a kitten, doing typical kitten things. Play fighting and getting into things that he shouldn't. Just like kittens do. Okay. My kind of leg. I will say, I mean, like, the nice thing about this being in the background is it means that I don't actually have to, like, draw out the mechanical parts of her leg, because as much as I like drawing mechanical parts, boy oh boy does it get, like, real time consuming. Like, that's just one of those things that I'm not totally positive that would be fun to, like, watch on a stream. Me, like, I think when I did my, like, Kanan and Grand Inquisitor piece, which had, like, their lightsabers and everything, I don't think I did the lightsaber part of it on screen, because, like, that's, like, a lot of, like, having a picture of the lightsaber, like, literally right on the screen right next to it, and, like, cross-checking back and forth, and, like, drawing lines and erasing them, and, like, just trying to get, like, everything super precise. I enjoy that kind of work, but I don't know that it's fun to watch. And she's also kind of got this, like, kind of skirt thing. And the underside of it is red. Oh, the lightsaber hilt. Yeah, that would be kind of important, right? I'm sure Masana would like her lightsaber to be functioning. Honestly, that hill looks kind of tiny for as big as she is. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. Just trying to remember how lightsabers work, you know. Not how they function, mind you, but just, you know. Okay. Now, time to do some lighting magic. There's like some light from the train itself kind of coming up through here. My leg is obviously going to have being metal. I have some light up on it. Okay. And this is kind of the stage where, like, I can give it like a tiny bit more definition without it looking like strangely detailed for something in the background. Sort of using the highlights to kind of emphasize where the outlines of things are. It's probably a little too much for this. Just need to get like that. Oh, and another thing that's actually important, she needs her gauntlets have the diamond shapes that the Purge troopers have on them as well. And given that this is a Purge trooper centric piece, far be it from us to ignore that. Okay, I need to see it without interesting words. Okay. Now we're adding, so that was an add glow layer, which everyone knows by now that that's like my favorite way to add my highlights and everything. Sort of add glow. And I still need to go through and add the glow from the lightsaber too, but yeah, remember what I said about, like, you know, you kind of want to, when you're doing something like this that's like not very detailed because it's in the background. Um, oh boy, I'm getting so. Oh. Okay. Whew. When I saw that recovery message, I was like, oh no. We're fine, we're fine, we're safe. We didn't lose everything. It did remind me to save, though. Always important, always something that I'm not thinking about, so. Right. And our next multiply layer where we actually kind of go in and do like we did with the, oh boy, it's really dark. Let's turn that back just a bit. Go through and add the details, but this time in darkness. Nope. That was a glitch. And so I'm not sure if I want to go quite that dark there just yet. Just because we're going to have the lightsaber light, which is what's really going to define this right here too. Yeah, this is a real crucial step when you don't have the line art to like actually kind of defining your piece. Brilliant. Nice. Picked the right layer first try. Go me. Right. Lightsaber time. Crank up the intensity of that paint. Yeah. Okay. And of course she's interacting with the environment around her, so this definitely needs to be like kind of cast in a, especially because it's all wet outside, which is going to make all of the shiny reflective things all the more vibrant. Now we're getting somewhere, right? You see my vision? Ah, hey, Angela, it's going well. We're adding Cal Kestis and the Ninth Sister to this piece. Right now they're starting out super vibrant because I'm going to blur them in the background, but for now they get to be a little bit more subdued. Or sorry, I said the opposite. They're blurry because they're in the background, like they don't have strong line art like our foreground focus, but they're almost like so vibrant in the background that it takes away from the focus of him, right? But what we're gonna do is do like a motion blur effect in the background once we're all done drawing them, and that should kind of help re-emphasize PT118 here. Okay, I even had to check if that was on multiply mode because it was like, it looks so purple. Let's see. Okay, yeah. That's more like what I was expecting. It's like, why does it look so much like the base color? Because it was the base color. I also need the train to be a little darker too. Okay. It's a really big file with these like complicated brushes, so kind of takes it a minute to save. Okay. Well, now let's do Mr. Kestis, shall we? Cal Kestis. I gotta look up 1 second. What is Cal Kestis wearing on Bronco? Oh no. I'm so sorry, little man. He was sitting right under my desk, and when I moved, it like. I'm so sorry, little man. Kestis Bronco. Yeah, normally I do this kind of stuff in advance, but I forgot. Oh, he's in a classic poncho look. Nice jump, Brindle. Classic poncho. Good. We love a Cal Kestis poncho. This appears to be a waterproof poncho. And it's good because it's kind of in the same color scheme as these three. Always a concern for me. But what are the colors going to look like? I need the sketch back again. Very helpful. Get rid of that for a second. Okay, there we go. There he is. So afraid. I would be too, to be fair. I mean, come on now. knocking over my Inquisitor trading cards. Being naughty, as cats are wont to do. Okay, Poncho Boy. So much like with the Ninth Sister, this is probably going to look like kind of strange when it's in that stage, but you know, once you fill it out just a little bit more, it looks a little less awkward and blocky. Okay. I'm going to do the rest of his clothes in this color. Make him like visually a little bit lighter, like a light side of the Force boy should be. He kind of looks a little bit like Inquisitor Cal right at this moment. Inquisitor Cal, Inquisitor Cal. It's the gray. My pen is just drifting, drifting, drifting. There we go. That just means save. And I'm reusing the same layers that I did for the Ninth Sister, just because I don't want to have to make individual layers for every single one of his clothes and everything like that on top of hers. It's just so not necessary. Okay, he's got like a little orange patch on the shoulder of his poncho. So go ahead and get that. What are you doing? What I tell you about, I made no promises about his disruptiveness during this stream, that he could be every bit as disruptive as he was yesterday. That's just kittens. What's funny is even at this level of detail, like when I initially showed Marshall this sketch, he was like, "Oh, is that Cal Kestis?" Like he just knew that this poor unfortunate boy would be Cal Kestis. I do think we need to go like true blue. Oh, thank you. He's trying to grab my pen. Yep. Yes, sir. You are a deity. Stop eating the tissue. My goodness, can't have anything. We'll save that for the actual like shading. Now I just have to pick a flesh color that will kind of look a little bit natural to the scene. Okay, stopping in that tissue, putting it over here, and those. Like I said, he's at the stage where like being ignored, even though there are other cats to play with here, being ignored is not something that he enjoys. But I guess you could say that about all of us, right? Nobody really likes to be ignored. Come on. Oh no, don't freeze. Yep, exactly. My tea is getting cold. My pen is still frozen. Oh, good. Look at that. Cal Kestis is a weevil now. Terrible. Go ahead and save. That was funny. Just a big, long proboscis. Yeah, I actually decided to take a loose interpretation of Cal Kestis. I really thought that maybe he might like to change species or something. It's gonna do it again. Yep. I really thought that maybe when he gets scared, he should just eject the rest of his face through the ground. That would be a really efficient way to frighten off the Ninth Sister. That's my headcanon. And his eyeballs pop out of his sockets too. Come on. Come on, you can do it. I know there's a lot going on in this drawing, but we don't have to play this game where you just drift off into nothingness. Just let me have this. We're almost through this, like, well, I mean, not really, but what a Muppet. Oh, now he's squeaking because he's climbing up my pants leg. It really doesn't matter what Cal Kestis' face looks like at this moment in time because we're gonna blur him. You little monster! I love you. Oh. You want to climb into my lap, but you don't want to be held. Typical kitten. Okay. Let's shade this bad boy. Actually, he's a very good boy. Let's try this. Want the sense that she's like bearing down on him, so you know. Oh my goodness, do you hear him? His little sounds begging for me to pick him up. My goodness. Alright, he's climbing my leg once again. Ow. I love you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, it must be acid rain. Oh gosh. I just want, like, whatever, like, once I blur this and it doesn't matter what his face looks like because it's going to be, like, kind of, like, pushed up anyways, I want you to remember that this is what he looked like beforehand. Actually, is he even... One thing that I forgot to double check until just now, I need to make sure he's actually on top of the train. Right? Like, now I can see that he really needs to move down. So let me do this. I really should have checked that. The thing is I can get rid of that now too. There we go. Put him at least on the same plane of existence as Masana. Okay. Oh god, it's so so funny seeing it at this stage. I promise it's gonna turn out, guys, but right now I know it looks a little rough right now, but we're gonna get him looking like a human being. Actually, that side should be highlighted because there's a lightsaber in his hand. Okay. And I forgot to put this blue in the palette, but run, Cal, run. I'd run too if this was behind me. I know, I know. It was very sweet when he actually like crawled it and like batted my face. Like, um, it almost broke me. It was almost like, you know what? Let's just stop the stream. I have to cuddle my cat. But please, Brindle, I am a consummate professional. I came to show folks how to do motion blur effects, and I intend to do it. Honestly, it will be kind of a bit of a learning experience for me because I played around with these type effect filters a lot in uh, Photoshop, but I haven't done it as much in Clip Studio. Forgot to add like the bit of lightsaber glow, like ooh, on the ground. Yeah. Kind of like I did like Masana's lightsaber too. Like if everything is reflective, then we should definitely see, you know, some of that. Because everything is wet. He looks so goofy right now. Alright, alright. I think it's time. Like, I'm kind of like zooming back and like squinting and everything, but I think we're like relatively at the point in time we need to be to pull them, to motion blur them. So let me go ahead and get rid of the palette layer. And what I'll do at this stage is like I'll go ahead and make a copy of the folder just in case I'll need. Oh, it's kind of almost better with the copy on top of it. All right, so I will make 2 copies. And then one of them I'll merge down all of the layers, which can sometimes get complicated when you're doing. Yeah, see what happens a lot of times when you're doing layers with like multiply and add glow and stuff like that is like sometimes it doesn't really want to flatten like you want. So we'll go ahead and merge all of the normal layers. Go ahead and merge all of those. And then these we kind of have to merge down to the low, like they do okay when you merge them with normal layers. They just don't do okay when you merge them together. I don't know if it's just a quirk of the software or what. Yeah, all right. So we'll just take this, which now has all of them merged down into one layer, and then This is, let's go ahead and save because rendering this, like it's already having a little bit of trouble. So when we render it, I imagine it's only going to get worse. Okay, filter. Then we can do blur and motion blur. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's almost even funnier. Look at that. See what I mean about it really doesn't matter what Cal Kestis's face looks like? um, yeah, so like I'm gonna hit the preview button on and off a couple of times so you can kind of see, but like see how like it really doesn't matter. Like you want the shadows and everything, but like the actual like features don't matter so much. So this is what we had before, and then pew! Okay, that was funny. All right, so we're gonna start changing the angle until I get kind of what I want is for them to be going, like they should be going down and left to right, if that makes sense. That's incredible. I think I might pull the strength back just a touch. Oh, this is amusing me so much. Okay. That is great. Look at this. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is also why it's important to keep some copies of these other layers is like, now that the effect is applied to this, I can't really go back and edit it. So it's better to keep like copies of it just in case I decide, oh no, it's too much or whatever, then I can do it again on the new copy of it without losing like all of the detail and everything. Yes, like this was supposed to be like a really really fun piece, and like not super serious, uh, and just looking at Cal's little like bug eyes and everything is just really great. It's like you can see the fear without having to render any of the details on that. Okay, so now I need to blur the train here too. So that is in this folder. So this should be like a little bit more straightforward because the entire train is in this layer basically. So I don't have to do nearly as much like fiddling with merging layers and everything. Yeah, that's like background darkness. I don't want to touch that one. So I just want to do the motion blur on the train. And it's going to retain, initially at least, the same angle and everything that the other two are at. But I want to pull back the strength just a little bit because the train is even already a little bit more abstracted than they are. Gosh, I love this about Clip Studio. If you try to do this in Photoshop, when you have a menu popped up, it won't let you like move the background screen. This one we might go like a little bit more. Actually, that's so weak I can't even tell that I did anything, so let's... Always good. All right. Kick up the strength a little more, see what happens. Yeah. The thing is that like the thing that makes me a little bit unhappy about like the strength that's on the train is that it almost loses like all detail. And I don't necessarily want it to lose all of the detail. I still want it to like read as a train, right? So we'll just slowly keep peeling it back till I get that good balance of like it looks blurred, but then it also still has some detail to it. Okay, I think the angle, I had it more right when I was going this way. I don't know. Actually, it looks like it's... Yeah, that's right, because it's going forward. And then also... Okay, if he's going... This is the fun part. Okay, let's just try the other angle just to see what happens. I want to like try like some of the extremes. Just to like see what intuitively looks right. Now, I think that for the train to be moving forward, it needs to go... The lines need to be going that way. Not that it really matters. They could be driving backwards on the train, but there we go. That's more like it. All right, all right. Now, I'm curious about... Interesting. Okay, here it goes. Oh. Kind of like that. Okay. I think I can peel back the strength even more now. Watch it re-render again and again and again. If it wasn't such a big piece, it would probably have a lot less trouble with that. Okay, you know what I did not do though? I did not make a copy of this, so what I'm going to do real quick is take a picture of the settings so I don't lose them. Hit OK. Okay, we've got it now. I go back, I hit undo, and make a copy of this. Right after I was like, oh yeah, you need to make sure that you make a copy just so that if you try to do this blur filter and you decide later it's not what you want, then you can redo. Okay, it saved it, so come on. Render it out, thank you. All right, beautiful. Look at that. Oh, yeah, it needed a second for that one. Okay. Yeah, I'm really liking that. Now what I'm gonna do, like as you can see, this kind of takes place in the rain, but right now, like the rain almost looks like really only in the front. Like obviously I put a texture layer over the top that is just like some vertical lines, so I can take them off, put them on there. Just vertical lines, and then I took a soft eraser and I like kind of erased around the figure and everything. But now that we've added more detail to the background, it kind of looks like the rain is like only on top. So what I need to do now is go back in the background and add a little bit more of this rain detail like I have in the front. So we'll probably start in this layer. And the way that I've been doing the rain, oh boy, it did not like that. I've been using my sort of light purple color here. And this little brush, turn up the amount of paint like really high and everything. And instead of normal, we're gonna do add glow, because of course we are. What else would I use? And I'm just putting in some like kind of like smaller, fainter rain details. Like I said, that was like why like you can see like so much reflection on Cal and the Ninth Sister, right? Because it's everything is wet, so like I really tried to give everything that like super like high gloss look. And I think what also might set this off just a little bit, now we have like red and blue behind him. So I'm also going to add another add glow layer. It was very funny. One of my coworkers was like, wow, your pieces always look like they're glowing. That's because I use about 80 different copies of Add Glow when I'm doing a piece. Let's see. Yeah, that's behind him. That's not what I want. Actually, the best way to do this would probably be so I talked about clipping masks last time I was doing a full rendered piece like this. What I do when I make my clipping masks is I always save one not visible and locked. That way, if I like now, like I did all of the highlighting and shading and everything on our Purge Trooper, but that was before I put in the background and figured out where the lightsabers were and everything. And now I want to add more details to the front of him. So I have a copy of this just so I can duplicate it and not have to create the clipping mask again, because that would be really annoying at this point, because I would have to take off every single layer that is not just his line art and flat color. So that would be really obnoxious. So I don't want to have to do that over and over again, which is why I keep that like saved copy back, like just a hidden layer with the clipping mask attached to it, so that I don't have to do this about 80 times. All right, Cal's back there. Give him a little, just a tiniest little hint of blue. Because he's way back there. It's not like he's close or anything. Honestly, all of this is not really like, it's not realistic, but that's not like, art is not necessarily trying to be realistic. It's trying to like capture a feeling, right? And like to do that, it is permissible to over exaggerate. Like obviously I don't think the light from the lightsabers would be traveling quite so far as him in the foreground, but it looks really good and it helps everything feel like it's in the same piece continuity wise. So it's okay. Unlike, here's going to be the difference between like AI art and a real artist, is like an AI art may AI may try to get like exactly right, and like I'm gonna do what feels right. Like, plus he's a Purge Trooper, so I feel like having like all the extra red on him is gonna be flattering to him. And another thing that I noticed that I needed to go back and fix. Sometimes like I like to post my work in progress shots and everything a lot. Since it's raining, shouldn't Cal's hair be plastered to his head? Good point. Maybe he's just running that fast. That it's like trailing, it's like it's wet but it's trailing behind him. That is a good point though, but we also want it to be recognizable as Cal Kestis too. Remember what I said about realism just a second ago? I'm sticking, that's my story, I'm sticking to it, is that sometimes you just gotta go with what feels right. That was my first gut instinct, was to have his hair kind of dramatic like that, so we're just gonna go with that. Also because I would have to completely redo the motion blur again, and I don't want to do that, so there's your real reason. He's like, you know what? It's fine. It's dramatic. Sometimes that's what matters. But you are right, though. I mean, realistically, yes, it would be like all up on his head and like in his eyes. If he turns it, maybe it's just that he turned his head so fast that it went like. Let's go with that. That sounds good, right? You are so good about catching me though. Come on, my thing is just drifting away. About like it'll be like one detail at the last second that like I totally forgot to draw on Kanan's scar or something like that, and you will definitely always be the one to catch my details for me. Yeah, I thought these like ammo pouches or whatever were kind of looking a wee bit flat. Yeah, now my computer is really unhappy with the size of this piece. I'm actually like kind of floored that it's actually still managing to record even. But it just needs like a wee bit more depth, I think. Oh boy. I thought that that long trailing shadow off of it was something that the cursor just did. And I was like, what? Don't do that. This amuses me greatly. Now I'm wondering if there's anything else sticking out to me. Yeah, I think this is more of a problem with the base drawing that I'm not really even sure that I'm going to be able to fix at this point, but these look a little uneven. And I think maybe if I... Wrong brush. I keep hitting the paintbrush because it looks like paint, but it's actually in my pencil tool, because when I downloaded this brush set, I did it for like the pencil aspect of it. But yeah, like this side is a little bit wider than this side, so I think by shading it a little more, it kind of disguises that a little bit. It helps hide my mistakes. Oh yes. I mean, again, it's like I said, like a lot of times like I'll post so many work in progress shots because I don't necessarily catch things until I'm like looking over it as a post, and then I'm like, oh, I completely forgot this or whatever. Like you know that drawing that I did that was like it was like a fight between Kanan and the Grand Inquisitor, and I totally forgot to put the paint on Kanan's, which is kind of like, I mean, it's not like the biggest deal in the whole wide world, but it is kind of a big deal for his character, like given that it was like, oh yeah, like Sabine did that for him and everything, you know, so it was kind of like, well, yeah, it's kind of an important detail. I'm happy with how this is looking, but I kind of think that I should maybe change my signature to red for first starters. First starters, yeah, words. Okay, so that is that layer. That might be a little too red. The forever conundrum, right? It's like you want your signature to be visible, but you also don't want it to be like distracting. I also feel like moving it might help. Normally you kind of want to put it in like usually you don't put them like totally like off to the side here. This is actually not a bad spot. You want it to be kind of like central to the piece because you don't want people to be able to crop it out, but you don't want it to be distracting usually. I think here, but if I made it a little smaller. Keep aspect ratio. If you want it to be recognizable, usually on a complex background so people can't just like pull it off or crop it out. But you don't want it to be distracting. Noticeable but not distracting is such a fun line to try to stay within. Okay. I am actually thinking that I'm pretty much done. But I'm checking over everything now. Sometimes I like to add just like a teeny tiny detail at the very end. Let me add a little bit more like shading on his gloves. Because I think his gloves are looking a little blank. Again, this is kind of when we're like a little bit in the weeds here, but why not aim for perfection, right? It's the wrong perfection. How are we looking now? Alright, I think I'm happy with that. You know what? Actually, I want to add yet another multiply layer to the background. Because I think it looks too bright down in here. Just like underneath this train track or whatever. It needs to be more darker. Like up here, I got it like really, really dark. I might have even used, like right now I'm using this dark purple, but I may have even used like something like this. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's been a minute. Okay. All right. I think I'm feeling this. Oh gosh. It's gonna try to crash now at like at the finish line when I'm trying to like get rid of the last little oh goodness. Oh yeah, my pen's going nuts. The crowd's going nuts. This is when it's gonna get really angry. Hi, welcome back. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, what I'm going to show you is actually what it looked like before the blur. I'm so glad that I saved this, just so everyone joining at the last second can kind of see just how ridiculous this looked. For those who joined like super early on, you might have seen a Cal Kestis and Ninth Sister that looked a wee bit different than with the blur effects. Um, I kind of, I think I might screenshot Cal Kestis's face just to have it in posterity. And I kept repeating, like, as I was doing, I'm like, it doesn't matter what his face looks like, it doesn't matter because it's just gonna blur and we're just gonna lose all of the detail. Yeah, it's Cal Kestis and Ninth Sister on Braca, and they're on a train. I'm so screenshotting Cal Kestis's face for later. Save this for posterity. Okay, but we did blur them, so you can't see his horrible eyes. Oh gosh, there they are. I wonder too, though. So I did some motion blurs on some angles and everything. I wonder too what it looks like if you like still keep the outline of them in the background. But I think I like it better without. I don't know. What do y'all think? So this is with that base layer. So they've got like a little bit more concrete outline. And this is without it, so it's just blurred in the background. Which one looks better? I think it kind of gets rid of the blur effect, so I think I need to not keep it. But plus, I mean, the PT-118, our Purge Trooper friend, is the focus, so we don't need to like make the background like super vibrant, right? Because you kind of still want him to be the focus, and if we start duplicating that background layer, it's going to pull Cal and the Ninth Sister forward and take attention away from the Purge Trooper here. Well, compositionally, real pleased with what's going on here. Like the angle of the lightsaber matching the angle of the Purge Trooper, and Cal's lightsaber on the other side, like they both kind of like frame his body nicely. So I'm really happy with this, guys. Thank you for joining me. I know I do these streams like wee bit earlier than my Wednesday streams, but still nice that you can join. Do let me know like if another time works better, because like I could push, like in theory I've been having trouble making the art stream because like there were a couple times like when I was stuck in really bad traffic and I couldn't make it home in time, and then there was, well, I mean, when our pipe burst there was nothing we could do. We didn't get back inside till like 9. There was nothing I could do about that. But let me know if there's like a different time that kind of works better for folks. But I'm probably going to stick with either, like I started at 7 p.m. Central Time, but I could push to 8. So just let me know. But I'm pretty happy with PT-118 here. Thank you guys for joining me as we did some like kind of background effects this time, which is not something that we get to do super often, because normally you catch me on like the front end of the drawing and then I finish it over the weekend. Also, if you guys happen to be local, I'm going to Alabama Comic Con this weekend, so definitely if you are going, a couple of hours later, yeah, like maybe like 1 hour later, I might change it to 8 instead of 7. I don't really want to start at 9 though, because I don't know that I would be able to finish anything in any reasonable amount of time if I started it at 9. So yeah, I'll consider pushing to 8. But yeah, if you're coming to Alabama Comic Con, say hi to me on the Tumblrs or something, or in person, and catch you guys maybe next week for the Ahsoka stream, or this time or an hour later for the drawing stream. Thank you guys. All right, I'm going to try to put this up on YouTube later too, just like I did with the Marin one, even though we kind of start in the middle of this drawing. But you guys have a great night. if I can hit the button. There we go.